had been out on a couple of dates, and we had held hands, and the date was to make dinner at her apartment and then watch a movie at my apartment. So in my mind, I'm totally thinking, I've already held hands, we're making dinner and watching a movie, this is total cuddle and first kiss date. That's not what happened.
I went into this date and I was like, I'm still dating a lot of other guys, I'm still interested in other guys, like, we've held hands, like, earlier this week. I should probably let him know I'm still dating other people.
While we were cooking, there was a good moment standing in the kitchen. She was like looking over the recipe, and I kind of like came up behind her and tried to give her a kiss, and she wasn't having any of that. She quickly turned her head and walked away.
I went to the stove and I started like stirring whatever it was again, and I was like, so do you want to check the recipe and see how much I needed of this whatever?
And so we made dinner, ate dinner, and then went to my apartment to watch a movie. Started watching the movie, paused it about halfway through to get some ice cream.
No, before that though, we're sitting there watching the movie and we're cuddling, but I'm like, I can tell he keeps like looking over at me. He keeps kind of turning his head, and the whole time he's like, just stare at the TV, just look at the movie, just look at the movie, don't turn your head, don't turn your head.
I'm thinking she does like me.
I did like him.
We're cuddling. So then we take a break, and again, I don't know what it is about a kitchen, but so we're like scooping up ice cream, and I kind of like start to walk over to her.
And he corners me.
And then she pulled this little evasive maneuver, and
I actually I couldn't pull an evasive maneuver. I couldn't get away. Like, he just kind of walked, and I was kind of standing in the corner. So I was like, stayed like this, I can't like look up because then he'll kiss me. And I just said to him finally, I was like, I'm not going to kiss you.
I'm very polite about this. I'm saying okay, but then after I dropped her off that night, don't kiss her. I am just done. I'm like, this girl's trying to string me along. There's other fish in the sea. I'm gonna move on. So I start thinking about other girls.
And then after that, like, we didn't talk. And I was like, oh. And like, he was going off like setting up dates with other girls, just thinking he's done with me because I'm stringing him along. So I ended up asking him out for our next date, which was the next weekend. And that whole week, I kept thinking of things that I wanted to do. And I'd be like, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, oh, I want to do that with Paul. Or like, oh, I want to do this. Paul would really like to do that. And I kind of missed him.
I pick her up, and I have no idea what's going on. All I know is that the last time we went out, she wasn't going to kiss me. And didn't know what she was going to think, didn't know if we were going to hold hands. I'm kind of clueless at this point. But we go to the movie, and we do a little bit of cuddling, do a little bit of hand-holding there. And then after the movie, we came up to the Huntsman Cancer Hospital. They have a little patio, and the mountains are behind it, and it's really pretty. So we came up there just to hang out and talk. And during that time, we were sitting in like a little love seat type bench, and cuddling,
and the whole time I'm thinking like, I just want to kiss him. I just really wanted to make out with him.
But I'd already been shot down.
I was like, just couldn't get up the nerve to kiss him, even though I really, really wanted to. But like through the whole movie, because the movie was really terrible, like the whole time we're on this patio, I just really want to kiss him, but I can't get up the nerve to do it.
But I'm not, and I couldn't get up the nerve to do it because I'd been shut down too many times. So the date comes to an end, and I dropped her off, and that's that.
And I walk in my door, I'm like, oh, Kayla, what did you do? You messed it up. And so about like maybe 10, 15 minutes later, I text him like, I really like you, FYI, like with a little smiley face.
And I was completely frustrated with this because I was like, well, I was ready to take it to the next step last week, but you weren't. So I didn't know what to think then. And then I was like, yeah, so you like me. Does this mean that you've changed your mind about wanting to be exclusive?
And I like get really flustered when I talk about my feelings, and also when I have to talk about them on the phone. So my response was like, I don't know, maybe.
And so if a girl says, maybe I want to be exclusive with you, that's really no.
But when I say maybe, really that means yes. I just don't want to say yes. But he didn't know me well enough to know that.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well if it's maybe, then it's no. We'll work this out.
So we
and
hang up the
call.
phone.
And then I get a text saying,
So I maybe don't want my answer to be no, and I just don't know how to talk about my feelings on the phone.
so I text back, I'm like, well, do you want me to come over?
No, so first he texts back and he's like, so this is really weird, but I do like you too. Like, does this mean we're dating? Like, and I was like, yes. So that's when he asked, like, should we like be talking over the phone or should in person? And I was like, not over the phone. Do you want to come over again? And he's like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
So then I get in my car and drive over to her apartment, and then when I get there, there's this long metal staircase that goes up to her apartment, and she's sitting at the top of those stairs and sees me as I get out of my car and start walking towards the stairs.
So I start walking down to meet him. You know, I'm not just gonna sit there and like watch him walk up. So I start walking down, and he starts walking towards the stairs.
And then we just walked to our first kiss. Like, we didn't break stride. We didn't say anything. We didn't pause.
There's like no hesitation. There's no like I got there and waited, or like he got there and waited, or like we met like on the first step, or like just off. Like we met exactly at the base, and just like our eyes connected, and then we kissed. It was epic. It's like out of a movie.
And we knew, like, I mean, I knew as it was happening, I was like, that's a pretty good first kiss.